Hello, I'm Jerry Fort. Welcome to Jungle Jerry's Treehouse. Giant Beaver. A story from the book, the monster book, Creatures, Beasts, and Fiends of Nature by Nick Redfern. A giant beaver. Aren't regular size beavers bad enough? I mean, they chew down trees near the creek so that they fall over and they can, make their dams and their homes. It's just what they do. A giant one. I mean, some of the trees they take down, they're probably small, a lot smaller. Maybe about that big. Something doesn't take them too long to chew through. But a giant one, I mean, it could take down one, this big in a few hours, maybe. I don't know. The giant beaver is on page 54. Those those sequoia trees, where are those at? Are those in Oregon or California? The things are so big. When I was a kid, I don't know if they still have them or not, but they had one so big that they was able to carve a tunnel through it. A car could drive through it. That's how big those trees are. So a giant beaver could take out one of those big sequoias. Let's see what it says here. It says, giant beavers actually once roamed the earth in what is now North America. This is a fossilized skeleton of one such animal, the Castroides ohioensis. See the big saber teeth? John Worms, who has extensively studied reports of monstrous beasts in Manitoba, Canada, has uncovered tales of giant marauding beavers in not just Manitoba, but also in areas stretching from Alaska to Florida. The term giant is not an exaggeration, as we're talking about beavers the size of people and even larger. As incredible as it may sound, such beasts really did once exist, Worm says. Today we know from recovered bones that the giant beaver is in a separate classification from the one we know so well as Castor canadensis. It has been named Castroides ohioensis, something like that, after the state where its remains were first documented. Worms also notes that he has a number of reports on file of bear-sized beavers. A bear-sized beaver. A beaver that could take on a bear. As well as sightings of huge beaver lodges, ones that come close to the size of an average house. Wow. It's hardly surprising that their lodges would be so huge. After all, not much else would be suitable for creatures that reached heights of 7 feet and weighs in excess of 250 pounds. Although the giant beaver is believed to have become extinct around 10,000 years ago, the same time frame in which the mammoth and the mastodon became no more. It's important to note that reports like those obtained by Worms are nothing new. One can find reports of huge violent beavers that cover both the United States and Canada, and which date back centuries. As a perfect example, in 1808, Alexander Henry the Younger was exploring the Red River in Manitoba when he encountered a native man near the forks of the Red and Assiniboine rivers, today the site of the city of Winnipeg. Henry's journal for that time contains a notable entry that confirms the giant beaver story having been told to him by his native friend. A Saltu, Salteaux, who I found here tinted with the Cortez Aurealis, came to me this evening in a very ceremonious manner, and after having lighted and smoked his pipe, informed me of his having been up a small river a few days ago upon a hunting excursion, when one evening, while upon the water in his canoe, watching the beaver to shoot him, he was suddenly surprised by the appearance of a very large animal in the water. At first he took it for a moose deer, and was preparing to fire at it accordingly. But on its approach towards him, he perceived it to be one of the Kitchiamics, or large beavers. He dared not fire, but allowed it to pass on quiet near his canoe without molesting it. I had already heard many stories concerning this large beaver among the Salteaux, but I cannot put any faith in them. Fear, I presume, magnifies an ordinary sized beaver into one of those monsters, or probably a moose deer or a bear in the dark may be taken for one of them, as they are seen only at night, and I am told they are very scarce. While Henry's words clearly demonstrate his skepticism, they are important in the sense that they confirm that accounts of giant beavers existed centuries ago. As for John Worm's extensive research, it suggests that the giant beaver is still with us, albeit in deep stealth. There you go. Giant beavers are among us, possibly. When I was a kid, I was living in in a town called Loveland in Colorado, and I was coming up on this. There's a pond, big pond nearby where I was living, and I was walking up this hill to get to this pond, and as I come up to the top of the hill, I was looking at the pond, and there was a large, I don't know how to describe the size, the shape of it. It was crawling somehow, and this is Colorado, you know. It wasn't an alligator. It moved kind of slow, but it went into the water from the edge as I come up over there, because it kind of saw me moving toward it, and it just kind of went up and went into the water. I'll never forget that. It was weird because, I mean, even when I was a kid, I was an animal person. You know, I knew lots of different animals. And this thing, it didn't give me time to really focus on it. So it was almost a blur. All I can remember is just kind of how it moved into the water. But, I mean, it was just strange. Just really, really strange. I can't say what in the world it could have been. Maybe it was a giant beaver. I mean, it was big. Isn't that weird? So anyway, there you go. Giant beavers. From the book Creatures, Beasts, and Fiends of Nature by Nick Redfern. All right. Thanks for listening. Appreciate it. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.